Hello, my fellow Africans. We bless God once again for an opportunity to be live and to see you again. You are once again welcome to Africa, my Heritage TV. As usual, this is your boy, your host, Kwame, the African child. So, you already know the mission. So, we are looking forward into seeing the United States of Africa. We are looking forward into seeing all Africans, all Ghanaians, all Kenyans, all Ethiopians, all Tunisians, all Moroccans, leveraging on the opportunity that they are having in diaspora and having the benefit to also travel back to Africa to replicate whatever we were able to learn from the Western world that some of us are still living, and the privileges and the opportunities that we are leveraging on here. Thank you that you always watch the video, you like, you comment, you bring forth your suggestions, you tell us the direction you think you want this channel to go, and overall you also subscribe and also recommend the channel to your family and friends. It means a lot to Africa, my Heritage TV. And we are saying God bless you and thank you once again. We are here today to discuss the indigenous African religion versus the introduction of Christianity / Islamic religion. So let me put forth the title again. We are here to discuss the indigenous African religion versus the modern or introduction of Christianity / Islamic religion. So someone may ask, so why this topic? I believe it is time for us as an Africans to discuss this topic because it seems the African continent overall, religion has become opium for Africans. If you go to the northern part of Africa, where you would see countries like Tunisia, Morocco, Egypt, and so forth. The most dominant religion in that region of Africa, or in that part of Africa, is Islamic religion. If you go to the central part of Africa, you would see a mixture of Christianity religion, Islamic religion, and other religion also. If you go to the southern part of Africa, it's predominantly Christianity religion / little Islamic religion. If you come to the eastern part of Africa, you're also going to see Christianity religion versus Islamic religion. If you come to the western part of Africa, man, you don't even go there. Mostly Christianity religion and also Islamic religion. So I'm talking about the two dominant religions versus our indigenous African religion. If I say indigenous African religion, what I'm trying to say simply is that before the introduction of Christianity / Islamic religion, that is the two most dominant religion. That in itself doesn't mean that I'm just trying to look down on the other religions. All the other religions are very important, but for the purpose of emphasis, I'm just trying to single out Christianity and Islamic religion. So before these two major religion was introduced to Africa, we had the African traditional indigenous religion. And what was the African traditional indigenous religion doing? The traditional African indigenous religion was about the gods of the African land. And as you know, the gods of the African land are very faithful. The gods of the African land are very honest. The gods of the African land are very truthful. The gods of the African land stand for prosperity. The gods of the African land stand for unity. The gods of the African land stand for togetherness. The gods of the African land stand for Africans harnessing whatever we have on the African land into the benefit of all Africans. So that as I always say, the African land needs to become a habitable place for all Africans. We don't have to see the African land as a curse. We don't have to see the African land as a land that has been diseased, that has been infected with all sickness and pandemic and poverty, and that there's no way you can do well on the African continent or the African land. We don't have to be seeing our land like that. And the traditional indigenous African gods were standing for these principles. And these principles were at that time making Africa develop. Because mind you, even despite the exploitation of our natural resources by this Western world, we still have many resources in the African land. But because of this introduction of this major religion, it is like we are so in tune to the religion that sometimes we lose our common sense. Sometimes we lose our sense of judgment. Sometimes we lose who we are as Africans. So we cannot even decipher between what is wrong and what is right. That is the reason why I decided to highlight this issue, so that as Africans, we can dissect into it and know the advantages and disadvantages, so that going forward, we don't repeat the mistakes that we've been committing in the previous years. So now simply, now if you see Africa, if you look at the continent Africa, religion is the opium of the continent Africa. Religion is the opium of the continent of Africa. Why am I saying so? You see, Africa is a continent full of leaders that are corrupt. Africa is a continent full of leaders that are backward. Africa is a continent full of leaders that are not smart, that are not intelligent, and that are not humble, that are not faithful, that are not truthful to the continent of Africa, to the people of Africa, and to the resources that we have as a continent. And because of this, Africa has been retrogressing. So now, how do we correct this? And I'm saying, for us to be able to correct this, as I'm saying, if we take all African population to be 100%, as I'm saying, 99% of Africans believes in something. They are all religious. It's either they believe in something or they don't believe in something. But 99% of the African population, they believe in something. And the simple question we are posing to ourselves is that, why is that all Africans believes in God? Why is that all Africans, no matter their race, no matter their color, no matter where they're coming from, they all believe in something. They all believe in God. But yet we are so corrupt. But yet we are so unfaithful. But yet we are so unfair. But yet we are so unjust. But yet we are so wicked. But yet we are so zealous for ourselves. But yet we always want to have everything in our own way. We don't care about our fellow brother. We don't care about our fellow sister. And the simple question that we are all posing to ourselves, is this the message the most dominant religion in Africa is preaching? Is the most dominant religion in Africa preaching this message of people being selfish, of people being self-centeredness, of people being wicked, of people being money conscious, of people being unfaithful, of people being unjust, of people being dishonorable people? No! But if it is no, then why is it that we still having the existence of these two predominant religions in Africa, but yet still the African leaders are so corrupt? The African leaders don't lead to the values of these two predominant religions. It tells you that as a people in the continent, we got to consider our approach to these two dominant religions called Christianity and Islamic. Because as I'm saying, if you are to attribute, if you are to put the problems of Africa on a scale, and if you are to allocate or attribute or distribute or share the African problem or to share the African problem and to trace it to its source, I would pinpoint that 70% of the African problem is because of the extreme practice of the religion that we don't understand. We are just practicing it in the extreme, but to the core values, principles, standards of the religion that we are practicing, we are running and shining away from it. But we are only just looking at the extreme practicing of it. We are only just looking at the fact that we belong to this religion. But as to what the religion is standing for, as to what the religion is preaching, African people are always running away from it. And as a people, this is something that we got to consider. Like I put forth, before the introduction of the Christianity/Islamic religion and the other religion that's predominantly taken over Africa, we had our own beliefs. We had our own ways of worshiping God, because there is no way denying the fact that the God Almighty, the creator of the universe, the power and the force behind this universe, that God exists. That God exists. We can feel that God through the way we believe. We can feel that God through the way we interact with ourselves. We can feel that God through the way we see nature. How beautiful, how amazing, and how wonderful nature is. Nature couldn't have produced itself. Nature couldn't have manufactured itself. Nature couldn't have created itself. Before you see a creature, there has to, before you see a creation, there has to be a creator. There can't be a creation without a creator. So far as we are seeing this land, we are seeing the clouds, we are seeing the beautiful skies, the moons, we are seeing the other planets. So far as we are seeing the sea, we are seeing the water bodies, we are seeing the trees, we are seeing the animals. All these are creation. And for us to be able to witness and acknowledge this creation, there has to be a creator. So there is no way we as Africans would run away from the fact that there is a creator. There is a creator, and that creator is a powerful force behind this universe. That creator is a God that our forefathers, our forebears were worshipping before these Westerners, before these Europeans came to introduce Islamic and Christianity religion to us. And since the introduction of the Christianity and Islamic religion, Africa is going backwards. Africa is dancing backwards. Africa is retrogressing. Africa is not developing. So now the simple question we should all pose to ourselves as people is that, then what has been the benefit of this religion that they imposed on us, that they brought to us to exchange for our traditional indigenous African religion? When we were in the traditional indigenous African religion, there is no way as an African believing in the gods of the African land would go and steal from the neighbor. There is no way as an African believing in the indigenous traditional African God would go and try to commit adultery with the neighbor's wife or the neighbor's husband. There is no way this thing was going to happen. There is no way an African who believes in the traditional African indigenous God would cheat on the brother, would steal from the brother, would corrupt himself, would take from the state coffers, would take something that belongs to all the people and just use it to himself. There was no way this thing was going on. This thing was in extension. It wasn't in existence at all. Because we fear the traditional indigenous African God. We fear them. We revolt them. We adhere to whatever they were telling us, whatever they were teaching us. We were going according to their standard, their principles, their values. That made us as proud Africans. But as Christianity, as Islamic religion started taking over African continent and started dwindling our traditional indigenous African religion, then our people, our mothers, our forebears, our great-grandfathers, our ancestors started practicing Christianity. They started practicing Islamic religion. And I'm not saying they leaving the indigenous traditional African religion behind and practicing Islamic religion or the Christianity religion is wrong. But what is wrong and what is so absurd is them practicing or following this religion, but yet not going according to the standards and the principle and the status and the values and morality behind these two dominant religions. Because there is nowhere in the Bible that the Bible is preaching that if you're a politician, you are supposed to corrupt yourself, use your people money to buy mansions for yourself, steal from the people, be using power to be abusing power. There is no way the Christianity religion is preaching that. There's no way the Islamic religion is preaching that. But yet, most Africans are finding themselves in this religion, and yet they are so corrupt, and sometimes I find it hard to even find a word to even describe them. So this should tell us that we have to sit up as a people. There is something wrong with these two dominant religions, that we have to sit down and to cross-check and to know where the problem is coming from so that we can put forth solution to it. So my people, as you saw the caption, if we clearly look at the traditional indigenous African religion versus the introduction of the modern or the introduction of the modern Christianity / the Islamic religion that we are practicing in most African countries, it clearly shows that going back to our roots for our traditional indigenous African gods and going back to worship them, going back to follow their principles, status and standards is what Africa needs to develop, is what Africa needs to progress, is what Africa needs to also accelerate and to advance in whatever the Western world seems to be beating us with. This was a short broadcast I decided to bring to you so that it can serve as a teaser to cause us to be thinking, to cause us to be re-evaluating our stance, where we are standing today, and going forward, we would know how we are supposed to live ourselves as a people in standing for our fellow brother or sister, so that together as Africans we can develop ourselves and the mother continent Africa could also stand to benefit. God bless you. Stay safe until I will see you again in the next broadcast. Thank you.